Good afternoon, Cross Timbers. Today is Thursday, April 29th, 2021, and I am Ashley Cassidy. Texas man dies from a swarm of bees, President Joe Biden addresses the nation, and the Philippines extend their already month-long lockdown, and more, all coming up next on Texan TV. In campus news, yesterday was a special recognition during Sexual Awareness Month. April 28th was Denim Day, which is a symbolic protest of an Italian court case. A young woman was accused of consenting to her assault as the court felt that her jeans were too tight to be taken off without her helping the assaulter, therefore proving she consented to the attack, which in turn freed the guilty party. Women in Italy took it upon themselves to dress in similar clothing and stand outside of the courts of the country. This eventually got picked up internationally and is now an entire day dedicated to it. This is a wonderful way to celebrate women, to show their support of other women, as well as an excellent opportunity to raise awareness of the many stigmas around sexual assault. By recognizing this day and allowing those on campus to take part in the protests, Tarleton is showing their support. In local news, services have been announced for Sergeant Stephen Watts, a 25-year veteran of the Stephenville Police Department. Watts died last week after falling ill from a heart condition. After surgery, Watts slipped into a coma, and after no brain activity was detected, his family made the decision to take him off life support. Watts' service will be held at 10 a.m. on Friday, April 30th at the First Baptist Church of Stephenville, followed by a private graveside service at Oakwood Cemetery in Waco. Visitation is today, April 29th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the First Baptist Church of Stephenville. And now today's Texas, national, and international news from the Associated Press. In Texas news, Thomas Hicks, a 70-year-old man from Breckenridge, died earlier this week after going into cardiac arrest from being stung repeatedly by a swarm of bees. Hicks was mowing his yard when the swarm of bees attacked him. Hicks' wife, Soni Hicks, was out buying groceries when she returned to find her husband covered in bees. Soni stated that her husband's back and entire head were covered in the bees. Breckenridge Fire Department stated that they were met with very aggressive bee activity when they arrived. Medics provided emergency care, but Hicks did not survive. Soni Hicks was also repeatedly stung and was taken to the hospital for treatment and survived. The fire department located the bees in a tree and killed them by spraying foam on the hive. In national news, President Joe Biden declared that America is raising anew as he called for the expansion of federal programs. He hopes that this will push the economy past the pandemic and broadly extend the social safety net. The president had proposed a $1.8 trillion investment in children, families, and education, in hopes to rebuild the economy that was left devastated by the COVID-19 pandemic. During the address that this was proposed, Biden also drove home that his plans will put Americans back to work, restoring the millions of jobs lost. He became emotional when openly discussing that Americans needed food and rental assistance. In international news, the Philippines are having to extend their already month-long nationwide COVID lockdown. The lockdown will be extended by 2 weeks and end on May 14th. The president of the Philippines issued a statement earlier this week threatening mayors and village chiefs with jail time if they do not break up events or large gatherings that go against the country's strict COVID protocols. The Philippines surpassed 1 million COVID cases on Monday and has recorded more than 17,000 deaths, which is the second highest number of deaths in the world. For more of today's national and international news, we turn to the AP News Minute.
This is AP News Minute. President Joe Biden delivered a nationally televised address before Congress to try to sell his plans to Republican and Democratic voters. His proposals include a $1.8 trillion investment in children, families, and education to rebuild the economy and help the U.S. compete worldwide. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina delivered the Republican response. He said Biden and the Democrats have ideas that are too expensive and are tearing the country apart. Federal agents raided former New York Mayor and Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani's Manhattan home and office, seizing computers and cell phones. A statement from Giuliani said the Justice Department is violating the rights of former President Donald Trump's defenders. SpaceX launched a Falcon 9 rocket from Florida late Wednesday night. It carried 60 satellites into orbit for the Starlink internet system. Tim McGuire, The Associated Press, with AP News Minute.
In sports, the NFL is hosting its draft tonight. It is going to be held in Cleveland, Ohio on the shore of Lake Erie. This draft will be very different from the draft that took place last year. The 2020 draft was completely virtual, being held in what the commissioner of the NFL called his man cave. There will be no limit to how many people are allowed to attend the draft, and a lot of the top prospects in this year's draft are expected to be at the event. Organizers of the draft say that players and others will be required to maintain social distancing during the event. For weather, we turn to Carissa Cole.
Hello, Cross Timbers, and now for a look at today's weather. We have a high of 67 and a low of 58. We have cloudy skies with wind coming in from the southwest at 15 miles per hour. There's a 40% chance of rain, and that rain will continue throughout the rest of the week. Now, back to the news.
This has been a production of Texan TV News, a product of the Texan News Service from the Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas. Watch us live on Apogee Channel 2.1 in the dorms at 12:30 weekdays. If you live off campus, tune into Northland Cable Channel 9. You can follow the Texan News Service on Facebook and Twitter, and check out our website at www.texannews.net for all of your latest local, state, national, and international news. Today's broadcast was produced by Carly Speck, Carissa Cole, and Gage Leftwich. Have a wonderful day, Texans.